What's up, guys? We have a ton of stuff to go over about Battlefield 6 today. We have multiple different comments from David Serland on everything from the server browser to flaming random people on Twitter. David Serland continues the undefeated streak of being my GOAT. On top of that, we have brand new data mine information from Temporal about a custom search server browser system that may be coming soon to Battlefield 6, on top of map designer interviews where the map designer, again, said some amazing on-point things that I can't wait to show you in this video. Finally, we'll be discussing some Battlefield 6 beta stats, such as how many participants they saw, and just how big Battlefield 6 could be with pre-order numbers, on top of a full helicopter tuning pass David Serland teased. A ton of stuff to go over in this video. If you do enjoy the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and of course swing by stream. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders and this very YouTube channel. The open beta will be starting back up on the 14th and running all the way through the 17th, and I'll be streaming it every single day. The first thing I'm going to be covering in this video is more conversation around Battlefield 6 having skill-based matchmaking. I'm really not sure why there is still continuing conversation about this, considering we just played the Battlefield 6 open beta, and it played like a Battlefield game, but David Serland felt the need to clarify some things on Twitter, and this is what he had to say. Clarification: open beta used all matchmaking priorities we expect for launch. And I'll just stop the quote here. What that means is, if you enjoyed how the Battlefield beta played, you will enjoy how it plays on launch, all right? So they're not going to be changing anything. Continuing what he said here, quote, and they are the same as they have always been in previous titles. We prioritize ping and time to game ahead of most things. Skill is a factor, but far down the list, and all of our large modes need a spread of skill to work well. The sandbox needs many different types of skill to function well, and that's also why the matchmaker team balances to make the teams even as part of the process. The most important thing David Serland mentions here in either of these statements is the fact that he understands that large Battlefield-type game modes need a spread of skill in order to work well. That is fundamentally essential to the way Battlefield plays. Moving on, but still in the same vein of conversation, Temporal had a new data mine today, and he found this. Quote, a custom search option teased in Battlefield 6 files might let you set custom preferences, maps, and modes for matchmaking. Possible use cases: avoid last played map, focus on smaller large maps, specific map mode combos. Needs a healthy player base in your region to work well. And then he provides us with this graphic here. Custom search for matchmaking in Battlefield 6. Description in the files. Select mode and map preferences to prioritize in your search. Matchmaking time depends on your selections. We may expand the search to get you playing more quickly. Then he has a little note here. No guarantees, probably requires a healthy player base in your region. This really signifies that EA is banking on Battlefield 6 being successful if they do plan on having any of these sort of matchmaking filtering services going on, because it's basically banking on there being enough players to filter into these very specific matchmaking parameters to start servers. Temporal then goes on to tell us a few example use cases of such a custom search system. So you just finished a match on Liberation Peak. Now give me a different map. Preference, select all maps except Liberation Peak. So you can just filter Liberation Peak out if you don't want to play it, so you can guarantee yourself you will play a new map the next time you load into a game. Another use case is, say you want to fly in a jet or a tank. You can literally just filter out the maps that you want to play, right? So if you want to play in a jet on Mirak Valley, you can do that. So this would be really cool if they can implement it. However, I do have to just emphasize, I don't think this will satisfy the Battlefield community. The Battlefield community is so hard set on there being a server browser for the base game, and there is no other solution that is acceptable to the Battlefield community. And personally, I'm kind of already tired talking about the server browser topic. They should just fucking listen to the community. Like, maybe it would be really difficult for them to actually facilitate this. Maybe it's impossible, right? Because they built Battlefield 6 with matchmaking in mind, and that would mean restructuring essentially the entire game. However, just in the name of avoiding any bullshit, it may actually be worth doing later down the line. I highly doubt they could do it before launch, because I assume it's just going to take a lot of restructuring and setting up of specific systems. Even if there is already a server browser in Portal, the official servers may have to be, adjusted or accommodated in some sort of way. I don't know. All I know is I'm really tired of the server browser being a controversial topic when, in my opinion, it just shouldn't be a controversial topic. Of course, people want a server browser. Gaming has moved on from server browsers, but the Battlefield community really hasn't. It's an essential part of Battlefield in the majority of people's eyes. And I don't think this sort of custom search for matchmaking is going to replace the need and the want of the Battlefield community for a dedicated server browser in the base game. Moving on to some news about what we're going to be able to play in the next Battlefield 6 beta starting up on the 14th. We're going to be able to play Rush and Squad Deathmatch on all of the 4 maps during this second open beta. So that means Empire State, Siege of Cairo, Iberian Offensive, and Liberation Peak. Very important to point out, we're going to be able to play the new map here, which is Empire State. And some more information about these new maps and upcoming maps for Battlefield 6. There was a recent interview with VGC with DICE design director Shashank Uchil, and he had this to say, quote, "We want to make a map that suits every type of player. They could be infantry players, so we want to make sure we have good infantry maps, Empire State, and Saints Quarter. Maybe a player who likes tanks, vehicles, okay, let's make a map that's good for infantry and tanks, Siege of Cairo, and Iberian Offensive. You know what? I like helicopters. Let's make a map for that too. New Sobek City and Manhattan Bridge. And then jets, which I'm really bad at, but there are players who are really good at jets. I don't know how they do it, but there they are. So let's make a map that caters to them as well. Operation Firestorm, Mirak Valley, and Liberation Peak. The team isn't interested in scale for the sake of it. Scale is not everything, right? Well, just because you have X kilometers doesn't mean it's going to be a good map. Because then if you make a really big map, you'll fill it up with stuff, then it becomes more of an open world, and then you start compromising on a bunch of other stuff. Wow, I mean, some of these statements from Shashank here are just so on point, and this is so alien coming off of the back of 2042 to hear things like the team isn't interested in scale for the sake of it, and scale isn't everything, and then he talks about compromising things if you make the map too big. Then you look at 2042, and all the maps are gigantic, and they sacrifice so much in the sake of 128 players, and the scale is completely off. It's just amazing to hear DICE sort of re-lock in for once. It's extremely refreshing to not have to sit here and harp on every single word that comes out of any developer's mouth at DICE or EA. So it's great. Then, building off of this statement, David Sirlin commented on another thread that, quote, "Speed is a factor of map size." And apparently they handpicked these 4 maps in the open beta to make sure they, quote, "hit the full octane version of Battlefield on the head and made everyone see they can handle that too. Large maps exist, and the tempo scales accordingly. You'll be able to see it soon enough." Moving on to another massive problem area in the Battlefield 6 beta right now. This is being talked about a lot in the community. Helicopters, air vehicles in general. Apparently DICE is working on a large tuning pass on helicopter flight mechanics based on community feedback. This was confirmed again via David Sirlin on Twitter, who has really just been a massive spokesperson for what they're doing, and I really do appreciate the transparent communication that we're seeing. This is night and day compared to how it used to be. Remember the BF5 days? It felt like we almost couldn't even get a word out of them from anything. The reason they're going to do this tuning pass on helicopter flight mechanics is based on community feedback, at least from what I've seen. The air vehicle physics are just completely off. They're probably building off of Battlefield 2042's model, and they definitely seem a little bit too twitchy. There isn't enough weight. It just looks off. So hopefully this tuning pass really remedies this. I think the vehicles in general, not just the air vehicles, are a massive problem area in Battlefield 6. I do think they need quite a lot of work and quite a lot of balance. I just hope they can get it ready for launch. Now to some pretty impressive numbers here. According to Oppenheimer's investment firm, the Battlefield 6's beta saw over 5 million individual participants last week alone. And then we have some more Steam stats here. Apparently, Steam wishlists have shot all the way up to 2.7 million from 500,000, with 521,079 concurrent players during weekend 1, with a staggering 62% of wishlisters on Steam having also previously played Call of Duty, and 48% in the case of Battlefield 2042. Pre-order numbers are also fairly impressive so far. The open beta has already pulled in over 605,000 Steam pre-orders alone. I don't think this number includes EA and anywhere else you can buy the game, amounting to staggering revenues of $35 million on Steam alone. So I just have to ask, hey, no pre-order gang, how you holding up? How you holding up, no pre-order gang? Listen, I understand. Some people don't want to pre-order still. I completely get it. People are still very salty about Battlefield 5 in 2042. I'm still pissed about it. However, you have to admit, what we've played so far, I think, has really changed a lot of people's minds. And it's good to see, right? You don't want to see the game continue to fail. We all want to see the game succeed, and it looks as though they're continuing on the right path with Battlefield 6 so far. Now, the last thing I want to cover in this video is something, not really news related. I just think it's absolutely hysterical. So, David Sterling tweeted this: "It's quite amazing to install the open beta of your game on your personal PC for the first time and see this amount of people playing / wanting to play. Wow, I'm very humbled and happy." So basically just tweeting his amazement for just how popular the open beta is, the reception it's getting, the amount of people that want to play. And then, unfortunately, I don't have this deleted reply screenshotted, but I did see it. I just have to take my word for this. This reply to this tweet that has since been deleted was somebody complaining about quote-unquote bunny hopping movement in Battlefield 6 and how it should be nerfed. David Serland replied, "Just shoot them, ? It's not very effective, and habits from other games where that is effective is hard to stop doing. But through KD deficiencies, we will all learn." Holy fuck, dude. Holy shit. Dude, you just got the Battlefield lead producer flaming you on the timeline, basically saying you have a massive skill issue, right? He said, through KD deficiencies, basically saying this guy is a low KD, telling him just to shoot the movement player. I mean, this is based on levels that I cannot even comprehend at this point. I still haven't fully processed this clapback. And for me personally, this is at least a top 10 Battlefield 6 moment so far. I'm almost willing to frame this reply and put it over a fireplace in a beautiful engraved, golden plaque. But that is going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and of course swing by stream. All links are in the description to Discord, Instagram, Twitch, and everything else. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.